guys, so I'm here in beautiful Punta Cana and I'm on vacation and I wanted to answer some of your questions from Snapchat and Instagram. So it's been a little hard to film, but I'm trying my best. So let's start with some Snapchat questions.
Hi Jamie, what was your favorite memory of 2017?
My favorite memory of 2017 was probably finishing Step 2 CS and being done with all my exams for medical school.
Hi, my question is, what's your favorite thing to eat for breakfast? Love you.
If I have time, probably either like a latte or a matcha latte, avocado toast, eggs, cereal. I don't usually make pancakes or anything like that, but if it's there, then that's good too.
So my questions for your Q&A video are, how many languages do you speak, and did you play any sports when you were younger?
Alright, so I speak, I guess, 2 languages. I speak English and Korean, and I have a very basic understanding of Spanish. And as for sports, I was in marching band in high school. I didn't really play any sports. I joined the swim team for about 2 weeks, but then I didn't finish because I can't really swim like that. So I think that's the only sports I played.
Hey Jamie, so I was just wondering, are there people in med school who possibly do other stuff like band or dancing or theater, or is it just dedicated to medicine?
So I think there's definitely people who pursue hobbies outside of medical school. So I don't know specifically anybody who's in band, but I know people who continue to pursue sports while they're in medical school. So I know people who continue to do volleyball, fencing, and things like that. And I also did a cappella in medical school, so I didn't do that professionally, but it was like a hobby thing within my medical school. So there's definitely people who continue to pursue their hobbies in medical school.
Hi, so I would like to know what are some of your goals for 2018, maybe some future ambitions or just goals for residency.
So my goals for 2018, I guess for personal goals, I want to do more half marathons and get better at running. And I think on the professional side, I'll be starting my residency. So I think just doing well and adjusting to that new residency life. I think if I achieved that, I would be pretty happy in 2018.
Hi from Germany. I'm obsessed with your videos. And my personal question to you is Candy your first pet?
So Candy is my first pet as an adult. I got her when I started college, but I did have pets with my family before I started college. I had a golden retriever in elementary school. We had a few other dogs, and my parents were obsessed with, well, I guess more so my dad was obsessed with raising different animals. So we had a ton of birds, like iguanas and other reptiles too. But now my parents just have 2 cats and I have 1 cat.
You like cereal or waffles? You like cereal or waffles?
I'm gonna say cereal.
Like cereal or waffles?
Hi Jamie, my question for you is, on the scale of introversion and extroversion, where do you find yourself? Do you consider yourself an introvert? Do you consider yourself an extrovert? Thanks.
Alright, so I think on the scale of extroversion to introversion, I'm probably 85% introvert and 15% extrovert. Yeah, I'm pretty introverted, and I like to have deeper one-on-one friendships rather than big groups. So next I'm going to do some Instagram questions. Jessica Ryder asks, any advice on how to choose a specialty or find specialties that you may be interested in even prior to med school? So I think the best way to find out what specialty is right for you is really to just experience the day-to-day life of that specialist. This might be a little hard to do as a pre-med student. If you're lucky enough to shadow somebody in that specialty, you can definitely try different things out. But for me, I really went into medical school open to all the specialties, and I tried out everything as a 3rd year, and I chose what I wanted to do, which was emergency medicine. Do you have a favorite podcast or books at the moment? So I do have a favorite podcast. I talked about it in some of my previous videos. It's called Reply All. Basically interesting stories relating to technology. And the hosts have the funniest laugh. They laugh like this. They basically laugh like adult SpongeBob. I can't do it, but it's really funny and they make me really happy. So that's my favorite podcast at the moment. So the question is from Christy Lim, I think. And the question is, what is your favorite Korean food? I have a couple of favorites. I like this basically like a beef bone soup called seolleongtang. That's one of my favorites. I sometimes make it on my own, but it takes a long time. Basically like bone broth, which is really good. Another favorite is probably my mom's kimchi pancakes. I asked her to put in like pork belly and like squid and kimchi and everything in it, and she makes it really good. So there are a few questions that are asked in this Instagram post that have its own answer in a separate video. So I'm just gonna point those out for you guys. How do you afford life in medical school? There's a whole video on how most medical students afford medical school and living life and all that. So I'll link that video up there. What was your pathway to med school like? There's also a video that talks about my whole process from high school to med school, so I linked that video up there. Hannah Giotica asked, what did you do when you had so much studying to do for an exam but wanted to go to the gym too? Did you feel bad after going because you could study more and not working out? I feel like that all the time. So probably my most intense study period was when I studied for step 1. That's because you have a very condensed amount of time when you're supposed to cover a very large amount of information. But even then, I found it really helpful to actually take a break from studying and go to the gym once a day, about an hour. That took my mind off studying and gave me a little bit of a break. But also, it's just nice to be physically active and not be sitting the whole day and study. So I definitely recommend just prioritizing your study schedule so that you have at least an hour or so you can go out, take a walk, or go to the gym, do something that you like to do and stay physically active, even if you're studying for a big exam. So it started raining, so I had to change location, but there's a couple people from Instagram who asked the same question. So Benzie Box and Leela's Study Blur both asked about getting a bad grade or doing poorly in a class. So I didn't have that experience really in medical school, but in college, I remember when I first transferred to Barnard, I took this science class that I wasn't quite ready for. And I studied really hard. And I remember calling my mom and saying, don't be surprised if I fail this class. I worked really hard, but I just don't think that I get it. And I don't think I'm gonna do that well in that class. So I ended up getting like a C or like a B- in that class. And like I was surprised. I thought I was actually going to fail that class. And it was a combination of me not being ready to take that science class and me not knowing exactly how to study. So something I learned from that class and not doing well in that class was I realized that to do well at Barnard and to do well at science classes, I had to go to every single tutor sessions that they had available. I had to go to every single office hours and ask the questions that I didn't know the answers to, and really talk to the upperclassmen and talk to them about what I have to do well in a class. So since that science class, I feel like I learned a lot of lessons on how to study, and I started to do a lot better in my science classes. And of course, it helps to talk to your guidance counselor or whoever your counselor is to make sure the science class that you're taking is the right level for you. So that also helps. The question I'm going to answer is from H1619. The question is, are you a procrastinator? If so, how do you deal with it? So I do consider myself a big time procrastinator. If it were just up to me, I would never study until probably the night before the exam. So I know that's not going to work in medical school. So if I were to give you guys an example, if I know that an exam on Friday is going to cover 10 chapters of something, then I make a study schedule so that I'm covering 2 chapters starting Sunday. So probably Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that would give me all the days that I need to cover all 10 chapters. And then I would use Thursday to review everything. And then I would take my exam on Friday. So I think definitely planning ahead and acknowledging your shortcomings and planning to overcome those shortcomings is definitely how I deal with my natural tendency of being a procrastinator. So that's all the questions I'm gonna answer today. I hope you guys found it helpful. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your questions this time. I will be doing more Q&A sessions in the future. Hopefully you guys enjoy the beautiful background, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.